Hello everybody, today we're going to be talking about determinants. This is section 4.5 in your book on page 182 if you want to follow along there. Make sure you write down examples and definitions and take notes as we go along. Okay, so a determinant is a square array of numbers or variables enclosed between parallel vertical bars. Okay, now remember that to find a determinant you must have a square matrix, so it needs to be like a 2 by 2, a 3 by 3, a 4 by 4, so on and so on, in order to find the determinant. Anything else like a 2 by 3, 3 by 2, whatever, as long as if it's not a square, it doesn't work. Okay, so we'll start with finding a determinant for a 2 by 2 matrix. So we'll use this as a base example. This matrix here on the screen, A, B, C, D, okay, equals A times D minus B times C. So you notice that we're multiplying across diagonals there. And we're always subtracting. So let's do a couple examples. Find the determinant. So we're going to multiply across diagonals. So we get negative 5 times 8 and negative 7 times 11. And remember we subtract, so negative 5 times 8 minus negative 7 times 11. Negative 5 times 8 is negative 40. Negative 7 times 11 is negative 77. Okay, so we're subtracting. So remember we subtracted negative. It's like we're adding. So negative 40 plus 77 gives me positive 37. And that is what we call our determinant. Okay, so let's look at one more example, or another example. 3, 2, negative 1, 5. So we multiply our diagonals. So we're going to get 3 times 5 and 2 times negative 1. So remember we subtract those. 3 times 5 is 15. And 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So we get 15 minus negative 2. Like I said before, remember we subtracted negative. It's like we're adding. So we get 15 plus 2, which equals 17. And that is our determinant. Okay, let's do one more example. 10, negative 2, 0, and negative 3. So we're going to multiply diagonals. So 10 times negative 3 and negative 2 times 0. So 10 times negative 3 gives me negative 30, and negative 2 times 0. 0 times any number is always 0, so that's easy, 0. And then negative 30 plus 0 is negative 30. So we're done. Now, let's talk about one more case. We're finding a determinant for a 3 by 3. And we're going to talk about the diagonal method. Now, there's other methods that you can use. This one I think is going to be the easiest for you all. So please follow along and make sure you follow the steps carefully. Okay, so this is called the diagonal method. So first, we have our matrix. This negative 2, 3, 8. In the second row, 6, 7, negative 1. And on the third row, negative 4, 5, and 9. Okay, so we're still going to be multiplying by diagonals, but it's a little bit trickier. Okay, so step one is to rewrite the first 2 rows of the matrix. So we're going to go to the new page so we can see what that looks like. Okay, so we rewrote the first row and the second row, or columns rather, sorry, on the outside of the matrix. Okay, this is going to help us to figure out our diagonals and things like that. Okay, so we're going to multiply, since it's a 3 by 3, we're going to be multiplying 3 numbers each time when we're multiplying through diagonals. Okay, so step 2, so step 1 was to rewrite the first 2 columns. Step 2 is multiply our diagonals going up. So we're going to start at that negative 4 there at the bottom. So negative 4 times 7 times 8. Okay, and we're going to do, that gives us negative 224. Then we're going to do 5 times negative 1 times negative 2. And that's going to give us positive 10. Okay, then last one, 9 times 6 times 3, which gives us 162. Okay, so we're just going to add those together and leave that on the side for a second. Step 3 is going to multiply, or we're going to say, sorry, step 3. Step 2, part 2, let's call it that. Multiply diagonals going down. Okay, so we're going to start up at that negative 2 up in the far left-hand corner. So negative 2 times 7 times 9, which gives us negative 126. Then 3 times negative 1 times 4, negative 4, sorry, gives me positive 12. Okay, and then 8 times 6 times 5, we get positive 240. So notice that we're adding these, by the way. Okay, we get a positive 126. Step 3, we're gonna do our bottom minus the top. So before we subtracted, same thing here, bottom minus the top. So we get negative 52, or 126, sorry, minus negative 52. Remember, it's like adding. So 126 plus 52, which gives us 178. And that is our determinant for our 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, Make sure that you have your notes taken. Come into class with any questions. We'll see you tomorrow.